All right. We are live. Don't know if we have anyone. I don't think we do. Let yourselves be known. Three people are ready. People were waiting, ready. What is up, everybody? Everybody. Okay, cool. What's up, everybody? We got three people here. I wonder who they are.
Sorry.
You're fine. I'm just hanging out, waiting for.
Hurts so bad on my legs.
You're all right. So who read it? Who read it? What's up, Allie? I figured you'd be here. You were the one that was like so excited, as were we. I'm drinking this. You got another one? Yeah. Let's see here. What can we do while we wait? We'll wait 10, 15 minutes. So we should look at some stuff together, shall we? How's everyone's night going? I know there's more people in here, so let yourself be known. Let's see what's going on in the world. What's this crap? All right, we got Peter Cushing, the Boogeyman review. I don't really care what anybody has to say until I've seen it. 6 new horror movies releasing this week, and the Gremlins franchise finally returns. I know that they're supposed to have that like HBO animated thing.
Or Gremlins?
Yeah. Okay. This week's finally arrived. Let's see. And blah. Okay. Viral horror stories have come to life in Creepypasta, a brand new Screambox original that's streaming exclusively on Bloody Disgusting Screambox beginning today. It's a brand new anthology. Trapped in an abandoned house, a young man desperately searches for clues how to get out. The answer is hidden within a series of disturbing viral videos, each of which begins to infect his mind. So there's a new anthology horror series on Screambox that came out today. I pay for Screambox. It's a shit app, but let's check it out. Sick quality. What? Is that the Mothman?
What?
The fuck
Whatever
is that?
Thing is. Black-eyed children. What? Ooh. Okay.
All right.
We could check that out for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I really like creepypastas.
What's up, Amber?
Hi, Amber.
Key? I think she's saying hey. Hold on one second. Let's check something out here.
Oh, my legs are on fire.
You think they got an allergic reaction or something?
No, it's eczema.
Oh,
See?
yeah, I see it. Why is that happening?
It burns. I don't know. Stress?
Out of nowhere?
No, I get it. But it hurts.
Log in. Are you gonna be all right?
Yeah.
What is my Screambox under? I wonder.
I don't know. Sinister Cinema? I would guess.
Your subscription has been completed. Sending it to the...
Oh, he dropped his phone.
What's going on with everyone tonight? We got 4 people here, and we only got 2
Gold Bond for eczema.
people talking.
All right. I'm down to try it. I definitely know it gets triggered by like certain fabrics. And
Project Wolf Hunting.
I was wearing this skirt I got from Shein. That like Asian, like super cheap clothing, fast fashion thing. And it's not great material. So I think that might have irritated it. Which sucks.
So, okay. So Creepypasta is a movie.
Oh,
It's
but
not,
it's an anthology.
It's not I thought it was an anthology series. So, it's an hour and 24 minutes. Horror anthology based on viral stories known as creepypastas. Well, I don't know why it won't let me like click on it.
Go click the eye.
There. So, yeah, it's just a film. I thought it was a series, but that's cool. Never heard of it, so that's cool to know. Did you wash it before Scary Dies using cheap manufacturing?
It has been washed. I'm pretty sure.
Next up is former MMA fighter Brendan Vera. Stars in Joey De Guzman's Filipino zombie action movie Day Zero. Let's see how this looks. They're fast. Kaylee's favorite.
Special Forces. Yung mga siga na rin, hindi pumapalag sila.
It's a really nice inmate shirts.
Bro.
Okay. The zombies look all right.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't look like, Walking Dead zombies or anything.
No,
but
they're scary looking. Oh, okay.
Gore. All right. We're actually getting on-screen kills.
Yeah.
Slow-mo bullets.
But
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, it's CG blood, but that's what it is. Ha! That was cool.
Yeah.
Cocked his gun with his mouth. Okay.
Yeah.
I totally watched that. All right. What's up, Ricky?
Hi, Ricky.
You got a new black kitten.
Aww.
Oh no, Kaylee's gonna want to see it.
Congratulations.
So I'm totally down for creepypasta. I'm totally down for Day Zero. What's next? Dark Nature in North America under Dread label. Whatever. Let's watch the trailer. Is this found footage? No.
This is definitely not.
I think I can tell my friend is having a meltdown. Wherever you are, you need to come back quick because this weekend is not going to be a walk in the park.
So because it's Memorial Day weekend, people have all the time off, so they're releasing a bunch of movies.
Yeah.
It's not easy to leave a comfortable life behind. Yes, I will face my trauma or whatever. Let's show the boss who's in charge.
What's that? Oh, the Ashmore brothers. Can't ever tell which one's which, but the dude from like Lock and Key. I don't think
It feels like somebody is watching us.
Does it scare you?
This is not what I signed up for. What did you think?
Who's this thing?
It's like just being here does something to us. We all have the same nightmares.
I'm sure there's another explanation.
What the hell was that?
Some Descent type.
They believe there's a powerful spirit here. There's no coming to consciousness without pain and discomfort.
I actually think that looks really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't into it,
Really?
but I'd watch it with you, as you know.
Okay.
What's everyone doing tonight? I want to know what's going on in your life whilst we wait for everyone to get here. We'll watch Walking Against the Rain. I know that movie Influencer came out today as well. I'm surprised that's not on this list. Gravitas.
As long as I can remember, really.
What was the question?
How'd you say? I don't know.
How'd you survive for so long? Low budget creature feature that brings everyday people into contact with the end times. The antithesis of what a post-apocalyptic movie should be, and all that it's better for. I breath of fresh air or something. A touching soulful. Why I was fucking your entire trailer just like quick, friggin' long paragraphs that I can't read.
Okay. That was
I mean,
very.
yeah,
I don't know what that movie's about.
That doesn't really tell us anything.
Maybe that's good.
Pretty weird. The follows the story. The follows the story.
The follows the story
Of Blair and Tommy, two strangers who traverse an empty landscape in search of each other, relying only on their too soon to die battery operated. Okay, I get it. All right. That trailer was oh, you watched Influencer. Okay. It was good. Okay. I was thinking about watching that. Kaylee, I just showed her Invasion of the Body Snatchers last night.
Yeah.
The 1978 one, which is just, well, what'd you think?
It's fucking scary is what I thought. It was so creepy, but I loved it. It was like, it's like The Thing in an urban environment.
Sure.
Like, and yeah, it was fantastic. I was super into it. Definitely like really interested in the other like iterations, you know, the black and white one, the older one. And then you said there was one from like the 90s. So I'm definitely curious about all those, but it was great. It was really great. I'm very upset with myself for not having seen it sooner because I
saw
loved
when you
it.
saw it.
Yeah.
All right. I guess this has a trailer. I didn't realize this had a trailer.
Magic is all around us, but you'll never see it if you don't go out and look. That is a pathway.
No.
Oakway are the rarest mystical creatures. No mortal has seen one for centuries.
Do you have a first name? Gitchmo?
Gizmo? Oh, okay.
The species is wildly dangerous.
Huh. This is like Gizmo's origin story or something?
Never get them wet. No bright light. And never feed them after midnight.
Until when?
Our only concern should be the mogwai falling into the wrong hands.
It should be never feed them between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m.
Yeah.
The wrong hands. Where is my mogwai? These creatures
Aw,
may
he's so
prove
cute.
useful minders. First Shanghai, then the world.
If we don't save Gizmo, who will? Come get us! We need to return Gizmo to his home for safety.
You'll never catch Sam. We are dealing with creatures who want things. I simply need to channel their destructive energy.
We're the only ones who know how to do this. If we don't end it here,
So this is a TV series,
Yes.
right?
How many monsters did you slay today, huh?
same as always. 0.
Oh, May
that's super
23rd.
cute. Oh, so it's out.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
out.
wow. That's crazy. So, okay, let me see here. I'm curious. Does anyone know if it is the Max is still free if you have HBO? Yeah, I mean, Max is HBO. So you're good.
Yeah, the preformed faces and the pods.
So Secrets of the Mogwai is 10 episodes, airing, I think, one a week. I'm not hearing anybody discussing it currently. I didn't even know it was out, but I guess it's been out for days now. I mean, today's the 25th or 6th.
26.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So it's been out for 3 days, and I haven't heard a single person talking about it. And I didn't see any advertisements for it letting us know it was out. That's odd.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. I guess we've waited 18 minutes, so it's time to jump in on this. So, yeah, the Final Girl support group. I'm hoping everyone who read it is here, because it sucks that anybody would read this and miss out on the
Yes.
conversation.
Yeah.
I know that's happened to Amber before,
I know.
which is terrible.
I'm wearing my Final Girl outfit.
Yeah, Kaylee threw on her Final Girl outfit. Just
AKA Halloween costume from 2 years ago.
that's right.
Mhm.
Yeah, which was like a total meant to be thing.
Yeah.
We were looking for it, couldn't find it, and then on, I think, like Halloween Day,
Yes.
we went out and we went to like a couple different Spirit Halloweens, and we walked into this Spirit Halloween, and this place was empty.
It
I
was
mean, there
pink.
was nothing in there.
No. There was like a couple like random like props.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Like 5 things in the whole store, and I was like, well, this is a bust. Like,
Yeah.
because everywhere we went, had a little more than that, but this one was the most empty. It was basically like an empty building.
Mhm.
And so I was like, oh, okay. And then we went over into a corner, and there was Kaylee's size
yeah.
and everything, the
I
exact
know.
thing we were looking for in a completely empty Spirit. It
So.
was really weird.
Yeah.
It was really weird because it was like impossible to find. It was sold out everywhere we went.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one just so happened to have her size.
Yep. Meant to be.
I guess so. So there you go.
Yes.
Everyone listen to the audiobook, you lazy motherfucker. No, I'm just kidding. I'm actually listening. I love audiobooks. I'm listening to the Anne of Green Gables audiobooks right now. I watched Anne with an E with my kids. The 3 seasons that are on Netflix, and I loved it. So I started reading the books because that's the kind of weirdo I am. I like horror movies and Anne of Green Gables.
Yeah. It's a good combination.
The
The audiobook was read by Alice from Friday the 13th.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew that. Adrian King read it. That's really cool. That's really cool for sure, especially since, like, you know, obviously one of the characters in here is named after her.
Right.
Who should have read this book, though, would have made more sense, would have been Linnea Quigley. That would have made the most sense. Now, whether or not she would do it, or if she's a good enough reader to be able to do an audiobook, I mean, doing an audiobook is no joke.
Oh no, not at all.
So you have to be pretty proficient in reading and have the patience to sit there and read an entire book aloud with, you know, someone recording it and going back over it and making sure you don't, you know, there's a specific kind of way to talk. Yeah. So that you're not like disruptive. The Anne of Green Gables book that I'm listening to right now, though, there's like some kind of weird like knocking every like 10 seconds or like 30 seconds. It's really like distracting. I've kind of tuned it out at this point, but it was really annoying. I'm going to read Anne of Green Gables because it reminded me of when I was in 6th grade. If you haven't watched Anne with an E on Netflix, it's fucking excellent. I couldn't recommend it higher for anybody who has any interest in something like that. The girl who plays Anne is just the best shit ever. So adorable, so perfect.
George, welcome for the vibes.
Yeah, man.
Glad to have you hanging out.
Yeah, I doubt Ricky read it either. Jesus ain't got no time to read. He's too busy saving people.
Yeah, I didn't, Allie, I didn't see Selena here yet either. So
she probably fell asleep. She sets timers and then she doesn't wake up in time, and then she comes in like a half an hour late. Hard rule for me: the author, if that's their only job, should not do the reading. They are rough listens. I get why voice actors do them.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think if I've heard
it depends.
Any authors read.
I've listened to a Stephen King audiobook written by done by Stephen King.
What'd you think about it?
That's good.
You liked it? Okay.
Yeah, I liked it.
I like voice actors for sure. I think that, I mean, like, as we were saying, it takes a lot of skill to be able to read aloud a whole book and like nail all the tone and for characters and, you know, all kinds of stuff. So
I want all audiobooks to be read by Gilbert Godfrey or Bobcat Goldthwait. Or Fran Drescher.
Oh my gosh, her voice. I don't know. I'd be like, bye.
Yeah. Yeah, there's certain people, their voices would definitely be rough.
Yeah, that's true. Did you take your daughters to Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret?
I did not.
Is that with the same actress from Anne with an E?
Oh, I don't know. Is it? I don't know anything about that.
I don't either.
It's in the theater right now. Oh, that Barbie trailer though last night. That was what was up. No, it's a Judy Blume book. Oh, okay. Who's this main girl? Isn't that? She looks like Esther, but I ain't her Esther.
It's not. Yeah.
She's from
DuckTales.
Oh, she's Cassie in Ant-Man. That's right. I was like, why do I know this girl's face? That's cool. Okay, so let's talk about this book. Now, I am going, yes, Boogeyman. We'll be seeing that on Thursday, as long as it comes here. It should. I have a feeling it will come here. Alrighty then. I finished this book quite a while ago, honestly. So I'm definitely going to need to start talking it out. I guess what we should do first is I want to hear everyone's thoughts, like their overall thoughts of the book as a whole. Kaylee can start us off on that. So what did you think of the book as a whole?
As a whole, I actually really liked this book. I've read a couple other books by Grady Hendrix, and I enjoyed those as well. I like his writing style, and I was really into the like references and everything in this for the different like slasher films. Like I like the chapter titles, and I definitely feel like I called what the twist was. It was kind of predictable, but that didn't make me enjoy it less. And I really like the idea, especially of like, you know, final girls needing therapy for the trauma that they went through. And it's neat that it was like framed in a way where, you know, real life people, like in the book, it's real life people who go through these traumatic events, which then spawns the horror franchises that they are like the stars of, or the muses of.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a really cool take. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
As far as that goes, I don't know. I definitely didn't love it. I think preconceived notions got the best of me a bit. So like the fact that there's like no real slasher in this set like really turned me off.
Okay.
I thought so what I thought was going to happen here is I thought that they were going to be in some kind of like rehab for girls who had went through a bunch of different kinds of slangs and slasher tropes and whatever, and that kind of like Bubba Hotep, which I don't think you saw, but regardless, they're in this like home, like Midnight Club.
Okay.
So they're like in this home trying to recover together, and then while they're in there, like a killer comes through and tries to knock them off one by one, and then people become paranoid and people are like, no, they just disappeared, or like, no, and it's like, come on, we've been through this shit before. The fact that it's like all Lynette for the most part, and that everyone else seems to just like be secondary, and they don't really trust her, and nobody really like likes her, and we really just kind of focus on her, and she's really just kind of paranoid throughout 98% of the book, and there's only like a couple instances of a killer. I don't know, it felt more like a 90s thriller to me than a slasher book, that's for sure. So for it being a final girl book about slashers, you would think there would have been a slasher in it. And I thought maybe like their killers would all like band together, and you know, they'd have to fight them one at a time, one by one, or like something.
Yeah.
Right? The fact that we're dealing with like, you know, all these horror franchises and all these girls, I just felt like we didn't focus on any of them enough. We get just kind of and to pick a character from Silent Night, Deadly Night of all the characters that you had to choose from, you know, whether it's Adrian obviously being from Friday the 13th, or Heather from being from Nightmare on Elm Street with the Dream King and all that stuff. I just found it a very odd choice to go with Lynette Tarkington, this like wannabe, you know, Linnea Quigley from Silent Night, Deadly Night, which Linnea Quigley is like, she's not even a final girl.
But that's the same thing with Lynette, right? Is that she's not like they make her like not a real final girl.
I mean, I get that, but that's fine. I don't know. It's as I said, I think it's preconceived notions is what I have an issue with.
I gotcha.
And as you know, Fauci, I think, says here, it is. I mean, she's definitely Lori from Halloween 2018. She's the paranoid woman who is constantly preparing at all times.
Yes. Well, I what I'll say is because I know other people are giving their thoughts. Like I see Allie here. I do feel like it would have been a better book if we were focusing, like, instead of the first person perspective from Lynette, if we were like jumping between all of the different final girls and seeing how they lived their life, because that was something that I did enjoy, was seeing how they all coped, all their like coping mechanisms for their trauma. But we spent, obviously, the majority of the time was all, with Lynette. It's all through Lynette's point of view. So we got like that as the main thing. But it would have been really cool to see like Danielle's life, or, obviously Adrian dies. Like, we don't meet her, but like just everybody would have been neat to see. So Allie said, I thought it was okay. The overall premise was good, and I liked the tie-ins to the classics. But in my opinion, I didn't start getting interested until about halfway through. Okay. Don't know if it was the writing or what, but it didn't really grab me. Also, I'm horrible at predicting twists, and even I saw the Steph twist coming early on. Yeah, I think it was very predictable with that, for sure. Mm-hmm. I read this last year, and I was brought to it by the humor writing of Hendricks and wasn't coming in for gore. Same as his vampire book I'm reading right now. The horror is secondary to the dramedy. Yeah, it's definitely, like, I read Horror Store by him, and we both read My Best Friend's Exorcism.
Yeah.
And I think both of those books, it's the same thing. Like, it's very horror light. Like, comedy and drama and all that is much more of the focus, and it's like horror inspired kind of a thing.
It's more like fucking parody in a way.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, Amber, I did look it up. I pulled it up here again. Charles Starkweather, which this book has got influences from, for sure. So Charles Raymond Starkweather was an American spree killer who murdered 11 people in Nebraska and Wyoming between December 1957 and January 1958. When he was 19 years old, he killed 10 of his victims between January 21st and January 29th on 1958, the date of his arrest. During his spree in 1958, Starkweather was accompanied by his 14-year-old girlfriend.
Oh my God,
14? Carol? Is that a...
Yeah, Carol.
It's a weird way to spell that.
With an I. Carol with an I.
That's why she killed people. Because they don't spell your kids' names like that. That's how they... Carol Ann Fugatti.
Yeah.
So that name, Fugatti, is in the book. Right? I remember Fugatti being in there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is... But, okay, both Starkweather and Fugatti were convicted on charges for their parts in the homicide. Starkweather was sentenced to death and executed 17 months after. That's really fast.
Super fast.
But that's the 50s. They were like, fucking die.
100%.
They're not screwing around. Fugatti served 17 years in prison, gaining release in 1976. Starkweather's execution by electric chair in 1959 was the last execution in Nebraska until 1994. The Starkweather case has been analyzed by criminologists and psychologists in an attempt to understand spree killers' motivations. And so, yeah, I mean, spree killers, we have spree killers now. They're just much more bombastic with how they do things. Obviously, these people were just like killing one person randomly here and there over like a month.
Yeah.
As opposed to people now, they just open up fire in a freaking crowded area and do them all in one go.
Yeah.
The spree killer movie, my favorite spree killer movie, if that's what you want to go with, is The Frighteners. I want to call him a spree killer. Who here is a Frighteners fan? I love that film. And then God Bless America is that reminds me of that as well, which is a Bobcat Goldthwait movie actually that he directed. But yeah, obviously there is some kind of... Fugatti took a lie detector test about if she killed anyone and passed in the 1970s. She could be a
Interesting.
sociopath, you know.
Yes.
And
He just was like, I'm gonna pass this lie detector test.
it happens,
It
man.
totally does.
It happens. So there you go, Amber. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. That's cool.
Mhm.
So you can see the parallels. Charles Starkweather, of course, being
Sky. Yeah.
And you know,
We also saw
Carol being the other.
You said like, and I think that's super obvious that Sky and what's her face?
Oh yeah,
What's her name?
Scream 5.
Yeah, Steph. We just said
Steph,
it. Yeah. Scream 5 was definitely a feeling too.
But this was
Even though-
written before Scream 5.
Yeah.
So this has a lot of similarities to Scream 5.
Absolutely. Like when they're talking at the end about like we get the email from Steph to Sky about like gun plus slasher, like school shooting scenario plus slasher plus guns or whatever equals like synergy.
Yeah.
Like that felt very Scream 5 because it's like, yeah, let's just use guns. Like then we don't have to, like, you know, the playing field is very uneven when you have a gun as a killer and your victims don't. So, yeah.
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, you can see the parallels here for sure. Like they meet online, you know, they want to go after famous final girls, you know, or make them in that case. Obsessed with movies, you know, that kind of stuff. So I think that, yeah, I think that the Scream 5 writers got inspiration from this book. It's possible.
Yeah,
it's definitely possible. I don't know. I'd obviously they'd have to admit it, but it's not such an original idea that I'm sitting there like, oh, 100% it has to be
right.
But it's possible, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, so the girl who lived with the killer that was like collecting murderabilia, I haven't seen all these movies, but I thought she was from Prom Night. Crazy Chrissy.
Oh yeah. You know, she reminds me of is Eleanor from Jigsaw. She's the one who collects all the fucking horror memorabilia.
Yeah, that it's her character was freaky too, because it's like there are people who do collect like real life like murderers, like clothing and like objects and stuff. So I was definitely like disturbed by that thought.
Yeah. There is.
Yeah, I don't know who the big guy was. Like it was just like some wannabe like Neanderthal killer man. I don't know who he was.
Yeah.
And she's just like, I gotta keep him sharp. He's gotta take his time. And I don't know why she has that accent.
I'd read something previously on this.
Jacob Goodnight.
Yeah. Jacob Goodnight. Have you seen See No Evil? With
No.
Kane from the WWF?
No.
No? They're okay. The second one has... the second one's a little better for sure. It's directed by the Soska sisters. Has Catherine Isabel in it. It's okay. Those are two okay slashers. Yeah, maybe I'll show them to you one day. They're not like something you need to run to or anything, but
okay.
As far as Chrissy goes, I mean, I don't remember. Like, what was her background?
There's a reference to like Prom Night, like a reference to her like being attacked at her prom. That's like what they say, or that's what Lynette says or something. And that's the only reason I thought Prom Night was because it was like, oh, she was attacked at prom, and like all her friends died. So
is that what it is? I mean, that makes sense. I think that's what I think I said in my head when I read it, but I could be wrong. Meta guy, Chrissy, Final Girl. Yeah. Oh, what the hell?
I have no idea.
I'd have to read her thing again at her spot in the book. Where that is, fuck if I know. So anyway, wait, where was that thing that I wanted to? Yeah, that's what I thought. So, okay. I mean, the obvious ones here are Marilyn, right? Like, pretty much everybody is pretty easy, but like Marilyn is off of Marilyn Burns from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Adrian Butler is Adrian King, right? The actress who plays Alice in Friday the 13th. Julia Campbell is obviously Nev Campbell from Scream. Danny is Danielle Harris. I feel like, you know, Lori is a little too on the nose, I suppose, right? But I feel like Jamie would have worked.
Yes.
Because Jamie is not only Jamie Lee Curtis, but it's also Jamie Lloyd.
Yeah.
Right. So you kind of get a twofer on that name. But they went with Danny, which is supposed to be Danielle Harris. Which is fine.
Yeah, I don't know. Grady was like, I like Danielle.
Heather DeLucas, Heather Langenkamp from Nightmare, obviously. And then Lynette is just some variation of Linnea. I think that they just didn't want to go as specific.
Yeah. Linnea.
I couldn't even tell you what Linnea Quigley's name is in that movie. I mean, I've seen that movie a few times, and her death is exactly the same as you know, her impalement in this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, as far as the twists go, they definitely don't do a very good job, or he doesn't do a very good job of hiding like the twist. But I feel like any seasoned horror fan or any seasoned horror slasher fan, this is like one of those situations where your twist can only be as good as how many characters you present. So, you know, I'm sitting back and I'm like, okay, there's certain characters that are just 100% not going to be it. And like, how many other characters do we really meet? Right. And it ends up being 2 of the like 6. Yeah. Right. It's the guy in the hat killed the other guy in the hat. Right. So it's there's not a lot of suspects, and you get really you know, suspicious of a couple of them, and then a couple of them end up being those people, right? So yeah, I don't know. I definitely would have preferred more of a slasher route, right? I would have preferred more death. I would have preferred, like, you know, almost like running through like this copycat killer who's going through and staging these murders that are similar to Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street and all these different things. And like, she's having to go and get these final girls one by one to try to figure out, you know, things that had happened to put the pieces together of the puzzle. Yeah. Like, the killer's actively working to get the final girls all together. Yeah. So that they can make one last stand with the knowledge of like what the clues are from each murder site, right? So like, the killer goes in and, you know, kills a bunch of people at the camp, right? And then obviously she has to go to Adrian, and there's clues left behind, almost like a detective story. And Adrian's the only key to that, you know, but then she kind of has to stick around, and then something else happens, and then they gain more final girls as they go through it and investigate the mystery together. And then they all kind of make the last stand against the killer together. And it's like the final girls versus the killer once and for all.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely more focused on the women that are harmed in these like scenarios. And the realities of their lives like after the fact and how society treats them and everything. So, I mean, which to me, like, that fits with the title, like Final Girl Support Group, like it would be about mental health and you know, all of that. So, but I mean, what you're describing would have certainly been cool.
Sure. I don't know. I think that's one of my issues that I always run into is like I've seen so much shit. I've read so much shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a wild imagination. So unfortunately, a lot of the times I kind of sit there and I start writing better stuff for myself
Yeah.
in my head. Not saying it's better. I'm just saying it's better for me and my tastes. And while I was reading this, I just kind of kept being like,
It did make me want to read like an actual slasher book. You know, we read Clown in a Cornfield, and that was closer, you know, definitely was actually more of a slasher, but I would love to read like a really brutal,
absolutely,
you know, slasher.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Danielle Harris in the sequel, I'm assuming. Oh yeah. And See No Evil too. She's in that as well. She could just be an invention of the author too.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible for sure. Cop red herring trope. Yeah. The one Lynette is banging when she's younger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hello. He wants to come say hi. You want to say hi? You want to say hi to everybody? You do, don't you? You want to say hi.
He's all about dad these days. He used to be about me.
He loves daddy. He loves daddy. That's why. Because daddy's the best. Okay. Enough.
He just wants to, like,
no more kisses. I'm trying to talk. Enough. Oh my goodness. I'm getting mauled. Okay. Enough. You stink.
He's gonna just come back over to you. Look at this.
You know what? All right. So this is a world where dreamed. I don't know. I couldn't get that. I couldn't get a read on that. Like they kind of discuss that a little bit when they're in the support group, and that's another thing. Like they do the support group for like such a short time.
I know.
And she kind of goes in. They have their little discussion. Everyone's like, "I'm out of here. I'm never coming back." Whatever, and they kind of talk about what had happened in the past, but then that was like, that's it. And then of course they have the revamped one at the very, very end. But outside of that, I mean, the Final Girl support group is such a small, tiny little piece of this book that I thought that the whole thing was going to take place in the Final Girl support group.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought we were going to get like flashbacks and stuff, but honestly, I would have liked way more of the actual support group. And yes, this is a world where dream demons exist. They might have thought she was nuts like in the beginning, but like she like astral projects out of the like locked cabin to save Lynette at the end. And yeah.
I'm also with Allie here on this when it comes to like they all don't like each other. And I found that to be now, you know, when you've got very jaded women together in a group, you're going to have some issues, right? You're going to run into some, problems. There's no doubt. But I don't know. It never felt like anyone was was close or friends at all. And they were like basically forcing themselves to come there. Like I get that they were all, fucked up from what happened to them, but it would have been nice had there been a friend or two for them to like, bond with and they could trust one another and whatever. But the fact that they were all kind of they all kind of felt bitchy and not supportive of each other at all. And it's like, you've been through this shit. Like, how are you acting like this? Like, if anybody's going to listen to me, it should be you guys, because we know that in any final girl scenario, it's always the final girls that are like screaming for help and going here and going there, and no one's listening to them.
Yeah.
Right. So like, if anybody is going to stand up, if anybody is going to be the people that are going to believe the other one, the fact that every one of them is so dismissive of Lynette. I know that they think she's kind of labeled as the crazy woman and all this shit, but like, I don't know. That I really didn't like that for sure.
Well, they do have there is a character that is supposed to be more like kind and supportive, and that's Adrian. We just don't get to see we don't get to have any interaction with Adrian because it's all just, memories through Lynette's eyes. But she's the one that, turns Camp Red Lake or whatever it was called into a retreat for like battered women. And she's like really like supportive of Lynette and tries to like encourage her to come out of her shell and everything. So she was the one that was like, and it's said to like Lynette, like they all kind of acknowledge like Adrian was really the glue that was holding that group together, so we just don't get to spend any time with her. And I mean, you already said it, so I'm not going to like repeat it too much, but for me, their lack of chemistry did make sense because they were all like bitter and jaded. And I also thought it was kind of like, I don't know if ironic is the right word, but like they're all from different franchises, and like everybody in the horror community has an opinion on like who their favorite final girl is and who the best one is.
Yeah.
And I thought it was kind of funny that like they don't get along because they all sort of think like what I went through is the worst thing. Like it's worse than what you guys went through.
Yeah, it's like victim mentality to the nth degree. I don't know. I guess it just makes me not like the final girl as much.
It doesn't make me dislike the final girl at all. I still love the final girl trope. And I like I said, I mean, I enjoyed seeing what would happen, like, to people after a scenario like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they had, I don't know that they had moved on from their trauma. I think that they were all coping in different ways.
Oh, they definitely had not moved on from their trauma.
They did say that they kept going for Lynette, like, because that was like her one, like, when she would get out in the world and everything. But I think like Adrian was really she was the heart of the group. So
Heather definitely had not moved on. She is like drunk every 5 seconds, partying like crazy.
Heather still has problems. Even Danny, she lives out in the middle of nowhere. She's not as extreme as Lynette, but like she like specifically lives in a house.
She's the one that becomes paralyzed from the legs down.
Yes, but
she gets shot in Lynette's house.
Yeah. She or no, not in Lynette's house. That's Julia, who's already paralyzed. But Lynette does Danny does go into a wheelchair at the end as well. So Julia and Danny are both in wheelchairs at the end. But yeah, Danny's kind of like she's super friendly with cops and everything. Like she's in her own way, built her walls up. Yeah. And then the same thing with Marilyn. Like Marilyn's super wealthy, but she has like guards at her house and everything. Like, so I think all of them are still dealing with their trauma. It's just that the other ones besides Lynette are trying to pretend to be normal. Like they are trying to move on, but they can't.
I think what we should talk about really quick is did you guys, first question, I guess, before we get into the next question would be like, did you read these guys or girls as their characters, right? Did you read them was Marilyn Sally Hardesty to you? Was Adrian Butler Alice from Friday the 13th? Was Julia Sydney? Is that how you guys read them? Because that's how I was reading them, basically, right? That's how like they're presented to me. They're presented to me to be Heather is Nancy. Yeah. Right. So I'm sitting there and I'm envisioning in my head Heather Langenkamp, Nancy. I'm envisioning an Adrian King Alice. I'm envisioning these characters, but obviously older, right? And just having it, because in a lot of these stories, unfortunately, you know, a lot of them end up dead, right? Like Sally Hardison dies, obviously, in the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the most recent one we just got. In Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, she killed herself in like a mental hospital. She was in a mental hospital in the fourth one. Even we see her brought back on a gurney. So Marilyn Burns or you know, Sally Hardison, of course, has a bunch of different fates. Same with Laurie Strode, right? Laurie Strode dies in Halloween Resurrection.
Yeah.
Right. So and obviously Adrian, or well, Alice in Friday the 13th 2 is killed. That's her only fate, because she never comes back. We never do her again. Sydney is the only one who's never died.
Yeah.
Heather Langenkamp or Nancy obviously dies in part 3. And yeah, so like, you know, obviously they all have different fates. Like we've seen all of these people die, but in here they get to have an older age. Now, of course, Laurie Strode in the new Halloweens is much more like Lynette.
Yes.
And we can kind of compare that to that, but I definitely was reading them because of my attachment to these characters, because he's just outright saying these are those characters, right? And he makes them similar enough. So that's what I was personally doing. And for me, it was weird, because my next question, now that I've asked that, and Amber says, no, she was not reading them as those characters. She's reading them as completely different people. That's tough for me. I had a hard time disconnecting myself and not saying that like Julia is Sydney. Like that's just who that was in my head the whole time when I was reading it.
Yeah.
Fauci said yes. Allie said I read them as their characters too. As the characters in the movies or as the characters in the book? Amanda Plummer as Chrissy. You were fan casting. So the next question being like, how did you guys feel about who, like, if you did read it like I did, how did you read those characters' fates and who they became? Because like, to me, thinking of Sally Hardison getting out of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and then going off and marrying into money and becoming like this rich bitch.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was like, I was trying to envision that the whole time, and I just could not imagine Sally Hardison doing that.
The thing I liked about that, though, is that she becomes like a vegan and like an animal rights
I did like that. That's
which
cool.
I thought that was very neat.
Sure.
But yeah, I was kind of like, what? She's for me, the one that was really weird was Heather, because I was trying to like pick, like it didn't make sense to me. If your killer is the Dream King, if it's Freddy, why would you be doing drugs and like drinking a bunch? Because like both of those things can make you fall asleep, or like obviously drugs make you hallucinate and stuff, and that those just seem like
not even fall asleep. They're like things that can like make you stay asleep.
Yeah, or like make you stay asleep, but like it also just feels like you'd be opening your mind to that state where he could come and get you. So I was kind of like, I don't think that would fit with Heather, or with Nancy's character. Danny.
I mean, unless that drug was Hypnosil.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Danny, I felt fine about, like with Laurie, and that's probably mostly because of the 2018 Halloween, I guess. But I'm okay.
Context.
Yeah, I have context for it, and I do think that like a final girl going into like lockdown mode and like being afraid of the world and everything, like I think that makes sense to me, like how people would react. So
it's the most common way that they approach that. I mean, Laurie has done that in multiple iterations now, whether it's Halloween H2O or Halloween H4O or eventually Halloween
Yeah, I mean, it's controlling your
H60.
environment, right? Because you feel like you can't control the world and the monster could come and get you. So, yeah.
If they try to do a Halloween in 2038 with an 80-year-old freaking Jamie Lee Curtis, I'm out.
I know.
I ain't doing it. I ain't watching it. No, I will watch it, but I'll be mad the whole time.
Allie read them as the characters in the movies. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Heather was really weird. I was like, what? No.
I mean, she's just resorted to party girl mode. She's just like, fuck it. I'm just gonna like that didn't I don't know. That didn't bother me because I get it.
No.
She just wants to be stoned and drunk and
That's fine.
Okay.
It's her specifically. Like if any of the others had been the drunk stoner party girl, like druggie, that would have been fine. I would have totally understood it. But it's the fact that it's Nancy who's the one that's doing it. That's what just didn't make sense to me because of her situation.
we needed the girl from Pieces who says the best things in life is smoking pot and fucking on water beds. That's the girl that Heather would have been, right?
Like, let's be friends. The girl who died in the park, yes, was Danny's wife.
That was fucked up.
That was super messed up.
And Heather was just kind of like, whatever.
Dude,
She didn't
I
give a
was-
shit.
I was so annoyed with her during that whole like scene, that whole chapter,
And then they say that the like homeless dude they left her with, like,
trying to make out.
yeah,
with
he's trying
her.
to make out with her dead body.
Oh my god.
Like, she's a dead cancer patient.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's no way she was like appealing in any way.
No, it's supposed to be he's just like so old.
He's so
he
fucked
doesn't
up.
even know, which is crazy. But her character, I don't think she was anybody. She wasn't a final girl. She was just Danny's wife.
I don't think so.
So, but yeah, that all of that was really sad because I knew when they were gonna take her out of there, I'm like, they're just not gonna make it. Like, they're gonna die with her, or she's gonna die in the car or something. And yeah, really messed up.
Yeah. So, okay. Question. Did
Got up there all of a sudden.
Lynette have like a sexual attraction and want to fuck Sky? Because I got that feeling when I was reading it.
Yes, she was into him because he reminded her of her boyfriend.
Yeah.
So there definitely was like an attraction there, and I was trying to remember what her age was. Not that it really
I
matters.
couldn't tell.
Because he's like 19 or 20 or something.
Yeah, he's
Like,
late
he's-
teens, early 20s.
He's yeah. I thought she was like 38 or something for some reason. I was thinking she was like in her like late-ish 30s.
I felt like, okay, so I don't know how long it has been since her attack, because when she's attacked, she's like a teenager,
Yes.
right? She's just like making out with her boyfriend, pool table. We know this scene from the movie.
I thought that they'd been in their group for like
I felt that too.
15
26? Who's
years?
26? She was 26 at the when she was attacked, or Sky's
is
26?
Sky 26?
Oh, he might have been, because he is a little older. I think we do specifically say
Mm,
that he
okay.
is like 26 sounds about right, actually,
Yeah.
because she talks about how their ages, like the kids, because there's two kids,
Yeah.
and one of them is a little bit older. So Sky's 26. Okay, so okay,
Okay.
if Sky's 26 and she's 30 something, then of course that's nothing.
No, not at all.
And I can absolutely, but like, it's the way now the cop's an asshole, right? He's taking advantage of some girl who was like, because he says that, like, when she says, like, when she's having sex with him, she's like 19,
yeah.
right?
She's young.
And this was really shortly after the murders,
It's after the
and then it's been
the
like
sequel murders.
20 years
Yeah.
or something like that. So she's only in her late 30s, and
Yeah.
he's 26. 100%. The
Yeah.
way he talks about her, though, like, that ass is too skinny to fuck, and
I
like,
know.
you know, whatever. Like,
Oh
he
my
talks
gosh.
about her like she's like 70. So like, I could never get like a real image of
He
when
was
Lynette
really-
looked like in the book to me.
Yeah, I don't have a picture of Lynette. I don't know what I was picturing when I was reading this, honestly, because all the other characters for me were also like they're characters from the movies. Like I was just that was the blueprint. But for Lynette, I don't know who I was thinking of.
The therapist, to me, for some reason, I was envisioning Dee Wallace.
Oh,
I don't know
you
why,
now
but
that
I
you
was.
say that, I could totally see her as that. That's funny.
That's
Yeah.
visually what I was thinking. I stopped reading at one point and was trying to figure out everyone's ages. Yes, me too. I couldn't.
Yeah.
If they might say them in here, but man,
I don't
I
think
just
they
read quick, and sometimes I
I
don't
think they say
retain
skies
certain
for
things.
sure because everyone, you guys all
They
know
definitely
it's
just say
sky.
skies.
But I
26
don't know
is
that
right.
they say the others. Maybe at the end, I thought Lynette said something like mid 40-year-olds or something. I don't remember.
Linda Hamilton from Terminator 2. Yeah, I mean, I haven't slept since 1988. I'm looking in here for if there is any kind of talk about how long it's been since Lynette's incident. If I could get a timeline on it, does anybody remember how long it's been since Lynette's attack? I think it's like between 15 and 20 years.
That's what I thought too.
Somewhere in that area. And if she
Yeah.
was 19, then that puts her in like the 34 to 39 age range, which
Yeah.
is that's younger than I am. The way that he's talking about her,
It's
she's
supposed
like
to be
my
like
grandmother's age.
he's a freaking like male chauvinist, like
100%.
sexist pig that's
100%.
talking about her body and like she's a woman who literally doesn't want anything to do with sex because of her trauma.
I want to say the oldest one, because I think Adrian isn't she the original final girl in their world? It should be
Yes.
Marilyn.
Technically,
Since Marilyn is the oldest
yeah.
final girl
Yeah.
in this lot and kind of the original final girl, if you will,
But
for
Danny,
slasher
I
movies.
think, is the oldest. I thought Danny was the one that was close to 50. Which doesn't mean that she wasn't the they in the timeline.
But
Adrian was first, but I don't know.
I thought Adrian was the one that they referred to as like the original. That's why she's like the heart of the group.
Yes,
Is
yeah.
because she's the original, which means she should be the oldest. No?
Maybe, I mean, that sounds like it would be true, but I just thought for some reason I thought it was Danny. That was the oldest in age, but I also thought that Adrian was the original.
I could never get a read on anyone's age.
Yeah, it was hard.
In this
there
book.
wasn't a big focus on it, which
They should have just said
weird because it's set, you know, so
Adrian
far.
43.
Yeah.
Danny, whatever.
Yeah.
That would have been nice.
Sure.
And it's like they were 19 when they got attacked, and now they're 20 years later, 13 years later,
especially because it's like they're no longer girls, like they're women, but like it should be addressing the fact that those final girls, like their inner child is still in there. That's hurt and
the final
traumatized.
The final senior support group. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Garrett P. Cannon.
Yeah, that's the cop
who wears a cowboy hat and a bolo tie. I couldn't hate him more. What an awful outfit to wear. The Silent Night Slayings. There you go. Yeah. And he takes her under his wing, completely exploits the fuck out of her.
Yeah.
Uses her to gain popularity, money, and is banging her on the side.
Yep.
And then completely just tosses her aside. And then as soon as he can try to start making money off of her again, he helps her out so that he can get another book deal signed. I'm glad she told him to get fucked.
Oh my gosh, me too.
I
was glad that she left him too on the side of the road and just took his car. I was like, all right, this guy sucks. Even though he's supposed to be saving her in that moment.
Yeah, Mr. Garrett from Halloween too. I thought the same thing for sure. So, like, what did you think about the motives for the killers?
Well, so Sky is like wanting to get back at his mom. Like that's why he's
Such a
doing
kid
it.
thing to do.
Yeah, because he's like her real family. Like I'm gonna hurt her. I don't know that I can really make much of that motive because I don't think we get any time with his mom, with the therapist, to like see that she is neglecting her family a bunch. I know that there's a mention, there are a couple mentions, I think, from Lynette of like how she would miss like Easter or like something, you know, to be there with them instead of being with her family. But I feel like there needed to be more of that to see that it was like a really consistent pattern of like she's got kids, but she's always with these girls instead. So I don't know. I mean, it is a very generic motive, I suppose, too. And then as far as Stephanie, I don't really. She's in love, right? Like he grooms her. They meet, and he just like grooms her into.
It's always the guy's fault.
But what? But she was an actual victim too, right? That wasn't staged. Like she's an actual final girl, right? Or was I like misreading that? Because I thought that she went through, unless that was all staged and I'm like just totally off on it. But I thought that she like was a survivor as well. But I think maybe it was staged.
I thought I read it. I thought I read it as it was staged.
Okay.
By them, but just to become one.
To like get in there.
She wanted to be famous. Yeah,
she did.
I totally read it like that. That's very Scream 4.
Yeah.
Right. With Emma Roberts' character, whatever the hell her name was. But yeah, I don't know. The motives are lame for me. Like, I want to get back at mommy.
Yeah, I definitely would have liked a more. I mean, we've talked about this before on the channel with slashers, having like an actual like depth to the character and like motivations makes it a lot more interesting. But this was also not focused on the killer. This was focused on the final girls themselves.
I would have liked it to be one of the final girls was the killer, and it would have been that she didn't want her limelight stolen from her by there being so many other final girls. She wanted to be the final girl.
Yeah, well, and that's
so
what
she
they
could
like
really like sell her book and like sell her image as like the last standing final. Like it's like, you know, when competitions keep getting down to like, it's like all the champions return to take each other on to see who the true champion is.
Yeah.
Like to set it up to be that and to kind of have the game rigged in your favor so that you can be the final girl. Or even to like let them know, you know, beforehand, like I did this to you and we're going to see who gets through this. Like I'm not, immune to this either, but it whatever. It doesn't matter. I just, the motives for me, it's just, I felt nothing reading it.
Yeah. I mean,
like,
I wasn't
okay.
like, I wasn't shocked. I was just very blah on it. Yes, Stephanie did survive Sky's massacre at the end, which is why she becomes a final girl. But the stuff that was on the news in the beginning, because it happened at Camp Red Lake. Hold on, this dog.
Our dog's running wild, trying to get into mischief. He's a mischievous dog. He's going to become a final pup.
Just have to prevent him from getting cat food because then he gets diarrhea.
Oh my god! Yeah.
So Stephanie is like the sole survivor in the beginning of something that happens at Camp Red Lake, which was what I thought. But that's what I was confused about if that was set up, because I thought there was a different killer and everything. I just finished this book this week, so I should remember like what the killer was. But I thought it was like another guy. And
I just need to take notes again. I took them for the last book. I didn't take them for this book. I just kind of blew through it and then was like, I'll remember. And then like, I don't remember half the book now.
well, and you finished it like
weeks ago
too. So
I know. I read it too fast. I should have waited and I should have taken notes is what I should have done. But I mean, I don't know. We're having a good conversation. So I'm having a good time. I'm remembering enough.
I mean, yeah, as you say, like it gets convoluted, I think, with Stephanie's like involvement in the plot, especially because she like goes off script with Sky. Like they have a plan and she like messes that up by deciding to go with Lynette when Lynette shows up at her house, which is kind of crazy because the only reason she goes to Chrissy's house then is because, you know, she goes off script. And if Lynette had actually run out on her, that creepy dude would have killed her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stephanie's scenario made me think of American Horror Story 1984. I don't think Kaylee saw that one.
I did not.
I did.
What did you think about the letters that Lynette was writing?
That she was.
Well, there were real
writing.
ones and then there were the fake ones too.
Well, she was writing a book, right, on her computer about everyone. And when that gets out, everyone's pissed, right? She's writing it as some kind of like exercise to purge her feelings onto paper, but she has no intention of reading it. And that's what ultimately leads to the whole kerfuffle, is that she, you know, is exposed for saying these very hurtful things about Marilyn, about Heather, about all these people, even though they might be true.
Yeah.
That's, you know, no one ever wants to be seen in a real light. But as far as her letters, I mean,
like the one she was writing to her killer before he came to kill her. I thought that was an interesting inclusion, like that she was a pen pal of this kid who then came and, you know, killed her family.
Oh yeah.
I just thought that was interesting.
Got to be careful.
You do.
I mean, you've got these girls in real life who, you know, you see this with every serial killer. They have these groupies.
Yeah.
And they're usually young. Some of them are older. But like Charles Manson, like married some 20-something-year-old girl right before he died.
So crazy.
And it's like, what the fuck? Like what's wrong with you?
There's such a huge difference between fictional serial killers and fictional, like, you know, monsters and, you know, being fans of those versus like real life people. Like it blows my mind that there's, but I guess, you know, in some ways it does make sense. Yeah, I felt kind of bad for Lynette with those, when those letters came out though too, because, you know, the things that she was saying were very like 16-year-old, like just, you know, stuff kids say about like wishing their parents were dead or whatever. Like she didn't mean any of it, but obviously it was taken, you know, to the extreme.
That plot point at the secret book felt very much like it should have been an A-Broad buddy comedy. You need the tension to cause the breakup, and then for them friends. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what happens because they're all friends in the end. I hadn't heard the Charles Manson marrying. Yeah, I mean, look at any serial killer. They get these like
Ted Bundy.
Who was that we watched? We watched something on someone recently, and this guy was getting like naked pictures.
It wasn't
like,
the Night Stalker.
Yeah,
Which was like
Richard Ramirez, who's ugly as fuck, but like
he was getting like naked photos sent to him and like
by like really attractive chicks.
Yeah,
I was like, what?
It's weird. It's definitely really weird. I mean, I think that those women, some part of them, right? It's like the I could fix him, or like, you know, because like, okay, like when I read books and stuff, like one of my favorite romance tropes is like the villain falling in love with somebody because it's that whole, it's like Corey, you know, from Halloween Ends, like let's burn the whole world, you know, that kind of a thing. Like the villain who will hurt everybody that hurts you, you know, wants to protect you. Like I get that appeal very
Candyman.
much. Yes.
Be my
Like, and it
victim.
is romantic, but when it's like with these people, like the actual serial killers and stuff, when there's like actual people dying and like real mental illness out there, it's definitely like, you know, they're calling like to another disturbed person. So the girls that are into that have their own issues for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I just said all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah, super crazy.
It's definitely.
But Lynette's not that in this book. The person who's that in this book is obviously Chrissy, who's like literally living with a killer.
You just want to grab her and be like, Chrissy, wake up.
I don't like this. Yeah.
100%.
100.
Gotta leave however I want.
Oh, thanks for coming by, Ricky.
Ricky didn't say much
Yeah.
because he hadn't read the book, but you could have, you know, I don't
Next
know.
time.
I guess he just wanted to hang out.
Thanks for hanging out, Ricky. I'll see you next time.
Yeah. So yeah. Folly ado. How do you say that?
I don't know. It's French. I know that I've heard it before.
Well, it just means like a shared delusion.
Yeah.
Between two people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a good description for the people that are in love with like psychopaths.
Yeah. I don't know. People are crazy. This is all there is to it. I mean, we all have a bit of crazy in us, but some people just have a lot more crazy in them than others do. You know, we have certain tendencies that we just can't help. And that leads us down some real dark paths.
One of my favorite parts of this book was Fine.
Oh, yes. I'm so glad you brought that up. I wanted to remember that.
Yeah.
So as everyone knows, I'm a big Star Wars freaking nerd and I read like everything Star Wars, all the books and everything. There's a new era of Star Wars that they're covering over the last couple years now called Star Wars: The High Republic. And in one of the books, there's a character in it named Geode. And Geode is this rock, this living rock. And like through that character killed me the entire time I was reading it because like the character never moved. It was never animate ever, right? Like, but they would always like talk about him like he was there, like he was doing something or thinking really hard. It'd be like, you know, oh, he's giving me that freaking stone face again, and like, you know, oh, he has this. He won't break. He won't laugh.
Yeah.
You know, this and that. And it just the whole book, every time Geode was mentioned, it just found it hilarious, right? And this had a very similar feeling to that, where she was just talking about it, and it, you know, while it is funny. And it did make me laugh quite a bit. And he does get, he does survive. He's a final plant.
Yeah, he is a final plant.
He gets put in. Yeah, he gets planted. He's chili.
He's pepper.
Sorry.
He's a pepper plant.
He's a pepper plant.
Yeah.
So he finally gets some roots enough to do what he's supposed to. And he can't be moved from this garden, but she gets to come and visit him. That was great. But yeah, like, Fine being this character that she really like talks about like a person.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, but also really at the same time kind of pathetic and sad. Like,
super
this
tragic.
Is her only friend, and she picked this animal, or well, this being, because there's very little responsibility.
Yes.
Right, and she can trust this plant completely.
Yeah.
Right. She's too mortified to have any human friends.
Yeah.
She's too fucked up to take care of an animal that needs her affection and attention. Yes. So she's not emotionally available.
Right.
She's not competent enough to get this thing food and
Yeah.
water and walk it, right? Like
Right.
you have to walk an
Oh,
animal
God,
too a
she
lot,
could-
right? Like
yeah.
maybe a cat you don't have to.
Sure,
But like a dog is out of the question.
Yeah.
She's not going to walk down the street with it.
No.
But a dog would be good for protection,
right.
right? But like, you know, whatever, she goes with a plant because a plant is something that she has to have little to do. What it would remind, I guess what it reminds me of the most, because it's a plant specifically, is Leon the Professional.
Oh yeah.
And he has his plant.
Yeah.
And it's his best friend.
Yeah.
And he talks about it like
like it's
it's like it's his world.
Right.
Like he sits there and he sprays each leaf and he takes care of it. And like even at the end of the movie, when he goes to save Matilda, he like takes it and she plants it in the end.
Yeah.
Very, very similar. I almost wonder if this is like an homage to The Professional, because if you haven't seen The Professional, it's a phenomenal movie, but it has a lot of similarities in that, where he's a shut-in. He has no life. He doesn't go out except for to kill people. And when he comes home, all he has is a plant.
Yeah.
And his plant is all he cares about and all he talks to, and it's his only friend.
Very similar.
Yeah.
I like you said, I thought it was like both funny and like tragic, because, you know, Lynette obviously needs, just like every person, like she does need like love and interaction with other living creatures. And I thought it was, just weirdly like very bittersweet that she had fine. But I was very happy that he gets planted at the end, and like Marilyn's like, you should come visit him and everything. So, you know, I think with the ending, like we do get them being friends.
You cannot attack the cat.
Our cat is out because she was meowing a bunch, and
you can't attack the cat.
We don't trust him around her yet because he rushes at her.
We trust you 0%.
He doesn't want to attack her, but she's got sharp claws and she gets startled easily.
Yes. But Fine is great.
Yeah.
I love that character.
Yeah.
I like the whole thing with Fine. It is sad, but it's sweet at the same time. And I'm happy about the plant's fate in the end.
Yeah.
She's like super. She like screams. What's funny, I don't know how you guys read this, but like when it came to that moment when Marilyn wanted to show her something, and she's like, here, and then Lynette screamed, fine.
Yeah.
I thought it was like, fine, don't tell me, or fine, fuck you, or something. I didn't. Excuse me? Excuse me, little man?
No, she was like,
what do you got to say for yourself?
Fine, the plant.
You are a monkey. You're not a dog. You're a monkey. You're half monkey. Do not go for that cat. I'm telling you. You're gonna get it.
Man. Oh, hi, Zach.
Yeah, I know. He missed out. I think
Sorry.
you read the book too. What's up? Hey, you want here?
She doesn't. She wants to stay out with us.
It's fine. Don't you go anywhere near her. Whoa!
Whoa.
I almost went down. That would have been funny on live. No editing live.
No.
I really wanted to remember that. So
Yeah.
I'm so glad you brought it up, because I would have been so pissed had we not talked about Fine. Yeah, I mean, what else can you really say about it? But I thought I laughed pretty much every time she talked about
Yes,
him.
I just thought it was so sad when she was like,
She's giving me the silent treatment.
yeah, that kind of stuff. And like when she leaves her apartment in the beginning, and he's like, she hears him like screaming and stuff like behind, like, don't leave me or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, she's
Makes,
like, she's feeling total guilt.
Yes.
She feels more guilt about leaving the plant behind
Than Julia.
than the two people.
Yeah, and Russell. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was funny.
But yeah, I mean, I get it. She's cared for this thing, and she loves it. Uh-oh. The cops are coming for you. I called
Other
them.
way.
What's up?
Other way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's going down, little monkey.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about like what else to talk about with this book, honestly. Is there any other things that you guys were like, I don't know, that stood out to you or
Because I mean,
seemed
like
memorable?
a good amount of the book is just kind of her running around town,
Yeah.
trying to get people to listen to her.
Mm-hmm.
No one will listen to her, not even other final girls. She goes to this party, you know, Heather's in there drunk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, friggin' Marilyn comes in as being like kind of a rich bitch self.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of just get that, like she just is running all over town. And then you get this like kind of lame motive and it's over.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it.
enjoyed it.
I was right in the middle on it. I was just kind of like, okay.
I just found it to be like a really easy read, and I do like the way that Grady Hendrix writes. Like, I enjoy his style, so you know, it was, like I said, an easy read, and it did get me. You know, I feel like all the books that we've read so far, like none of them have really been scary.
Yeah.
So like, I want an actual like horror book that like will freak me out.
Sure.
Like that's really what I'm craving.
Craven.
Because, like as we were saying, like, you know, this is almost more of like a parody kind of a book, and
Yeah, I want something that's definitely going for horror.
yes, for sure,
Hmm.
for sure.
Okay, let's see.
The movie
We've
adaptation.
Deadline reports you will be redirected after this ad with these little lemurs.
Those aren't lemurs.
Or not lemurs. What are they?
Those
They're
are-
mercats.
Yeah.
Sorry. Done. Okay. Charlize Theron, Andy, and Barbara Muschetti to develop the Final Girls Support Group series adaptation at HBO Max. So we're going for a television series, not a film. This was July 19th, 2021. You're talking about almost 2 years ago at this point. So let's see if there's anything newer than that. Is there no? Oh, okay. Did they have? Oh, I thought there was one for news. Images, Wikipedia, this and that. Oh. Well, let's just put it in then. March 29th, review on the book. The Final Girl Support Group, HBO Max, what we know, that's 2022. Not much longer after. It's only January of 2022. So that's well over a year ago. Doesn't seem like there's any recent 2023 news on this, which doesn't give me a lot of confidence that this is going to happen. And what gives me even less confidence is that Amazon did
My Best Friend's Exorcism,
which we hated.
Totally hated it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really don't want Amazon to do another Grady Hendrix adaptation.
Not those people.
At least not the same. Yeah, definitely not the people that did it. You know. Yeah.
Do we have a next book? No, not yet, Zach. You got any suggestions? Start throwing them out.
Scary stuff.
Real, actual scary.
Real horror.
Let's go with real horror this time. I wanna read it and be like, babe, I have to leave the planet.
100%.
I'm fucked up in the head.
Like I gotta go.
Check me into a psych ward.
Outer space now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanna be fucking like committed.
Yes. 100%.
I want you to come in the room and I've like plastered every page of the book on the wall and I'm like fucking etching in crosses and trying to, you know, being that crazy guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I want. So during the memorabilia scene with Chrissy and Lynette, I wanted to know what was in Heather's room.
I did too. I was like, what is that? Because Lynette was like, now I know why she is the way she is. Like, oh my God, she went through that.
Grogu, stop it.
Salem's Lot. I don't know if that adaptation is coming anytime soon. It's kind of fallen into it's been shelved and the reports are that the test screenings went really poorly, which is shocking to me. I still can't wrap my head around how Gary Doberman supposedly that sounds like orc mischief to me. No, it sounds like freaking studio meddling is what it sounds like, because Gary Doberman, I feel like with his success writing the It movies, with him, writing and directing Annabelle, comes home and writing the Annabelle movies and having so much success, you would think that they would give him carte blanche, but I don't know. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe they did give him it and he went fucking nuts. I have no clue, but I'm shocked. I thought Gary Doberman was a home run choice to adapt Salem's Lot. So I'm kind of shocked that it got pushed so hard and is just completely off the schedule. It has no news currently of let's see if there's anything. Everything we know so far, May 18th, 2029. Okay.
Grogu. He's trying to play with his cat.
Yeah, he's being a little jerk. Salem's Lot has had its release date shifted around a bit. It was originally due to hit theaters on September 9th, 2022, only to be pushed back to April 21st, 2023. However, the movie also wound up vacating the April slot, which is now occupied by Evil Dead Rise. According to Deadline, the new release date for Salem's Lot is to be determined, but it will come sometime in 2023. It's possible that Warner Brothers, the studio distributing both it and Evil Dead Rise, may stick Salem's Lot back in that early September slot following Labor Day weekend, since it's had previous luck with horror in that time framing. Yeah, I mean, if I remember correctly, it came out in September, right? It chapter 1, and that made like $700 million. So they definitely could just be holding it off to make sure that they release it at the right time to make the most money off of it. Or they might think that they have a shit product and they're worried that it's not going to land well. Like, I have no freaking clue. So I am reading the Twisted Ones. Okay, enough with him and her. Say he's got to go. He's got to go. Like, he needs to move out. You need to pack your shit, Grogu. You're going. I want to see him on the fucking side of the road with like the stick with like the bag attached to it. Like, it's like the handkerchief that's like at the end of the bag. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't want him to be like that.
Like the old caricatures of a fucking like drifter.
He can't be out in the world like that. The Twisted Ones.
Right now, it's not bad, but it's not really scary. Then it's out.
There was this one book. It's called Hidden Pictures. By Jason Rekulak.
I like his first name.
It's a supernatural thriller, and it was one of those books. Like, I sometimes go on to like Book Talk on TikTok, and I find like people recommending different horror novels, and this was one that people were saying was like really scary. I have some other like TikTok horror recommendations that I could pull out, but
yeah. I mean, I'm down. I don't know what to read. I'm definitely down to read some Dean Koontz at some point.
Yeah,
for sure.
I haven't read any Dean Koontz. So
I've never read a Dean Koontz book. I've never read a who's the other one? Obviously, we could read a Stephen King book at some point.
Yeah,
then
I would love to read a Stephen King
what
book.
is there's the other guy, John Saul.
Oh yeah, John.
I've never read a John Saul book. These are kind of the bigger horror authors, but they're older now. I'm definitely down for something a little more modern.
Yeah.
Only novel that messed me up was Gerald's Game. The Moonlight Man still freaks me out, and the Mike Flanagan Char's design just reaffirmed that old fear.
Oh man, I haven't read Gerald's Game, but the Mike Flanagan adaptation and the Moonlight Man is terrifying in that.
Yeah, it is Peter Straub. That's so I'm down for whatever. Let's do. Hold on. Is this really gonna do this to me right now? Why
It's
is it?
under Google. That's why.
Yeah, I know.
I think.
Scariest books ever made. House of Leaves, number 1. There you go. House of friggin' Leaves. Peter Straub's Ghost Story. Oh, we loved that movie. That was the movie that we watched recently that I had never seen before, and I was such a big fan of that.
Yes, we were both like, whoa, what? How did we never know about
50
this?
best horror books of all time will scare you sheepless. 50. The Loop. Press the loop. What? Okay. Harvest Home. Open Road Media Harvest. Why are they putting this first?
I don't know.
Open Road Media. Nobody gives a shit.
I don't know what that is.
Harvest Home. The Other Black Girl.
Okay.
I don't know. The Auctioneer. What's number 1? That's all that matters. I bet you it's freaking like House of Leaves. That always gets like put in there. 14, 13. The Exorcist. I've read a decent one. Oh, The Terror. I watched that TV show. Frankenstein. Dracula. Okay, now we're just getting into the obvious. A Head Full of Ghosts.
This is a good one.
Okay.
I don't know anything about it.
I definitely don't want to agree to a book that's like 1,000 pages long. So let's just make sure before we agree to anything. Oh wow, number 6. Okay. But Ghost Story. Yeah, I love the movie, so I would definitely be down for that.
Sarah Waters.
Oh, The Little Stranger. This is a movie that I never did see. It has freaking Donald Gleason. Is that his name? Yeah, from Force Awakens. Anyway, The Shining. I've read that. The Haunting of Hill House. Never read.
It's good. It's really quick.
House of Leaves, number 2. It's just so dense.
It is so dense. It's one that I've been wanting to read for a very long time.
Stephen King's It.
I've started House of Leaves like 3 times now, and every time I always stop in like the same spot. But I love everything about like the concept of House of Leaves and like the setup and everything. I'm really into it, but it is a wacky read. It's very much like the epitome of like a postmodern novel.
Oh, Chuck Palahniuk.
Haunted is messed up. I read that book in high school.
I've read wait. No, I'm thinking of Bret Easton Ellis, sorry. I was gonna say I've read American Psycho. Palahniuk, Fight Club. Obviously. I Am Legend. That could be cool.
The Only Good Indians.
Are dead ones.
Stephen Graham Jones. Ooh.
Is that what's
Stephen Graham Jones, I only read My Heart is a Chainsaw.
Oh, right.
Not a scary book. Definitely not something if we're trying to go for scary.
A genuinely scary novel about possession and insanity. Says Bret Easton Ellis.
Any of these like horror book recommendations that I saved?
Pet Sematary. Ooh, Pet Sematary. You read that recently.
Yes, I really like Pet Sematary quite a bit, actually. Oh, this lady, I think this is a woman. I actually recently came across somebody on Instagram who was like saying that this author was like I forget what the term was, but like just like an instant buy, like anytime they came out with something.
A true nerve shredder that keeps its mind-blowing secrets till the very end. The Last House on Needless Street. Who needs this street anyway?
Who needs this street?
It's totally needless. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that sounds fine. I don't know anything about these books.
What are you guys saying over here? House of Leaves needs so much work, and also you have to listen to the author's sister's album to fully get it. I found out that there was that he had a sister and that she made an album, but I haven't listened to it like in tandem. Echo by Thomas Oldhue looks good. Look at Frankenstein by Dean Koontz. Okay. Fevre, George R. R. Martin. Fever Dream.
George R. R. Martin.
Yeah.
They did that Night Flyers.
This was good. I read this one.
Oh yeah.
I liked this one quite a
You
bit.
checked that one out from the library.
I did.
I remember that being on the bed.
Yeah, The Return. World War Z. The Hellbound Heart, I quite like.
World War Z. I'd love to read it.
I think I read this in high school. I think I read World War Z in high school, but I don't quite remember much of it. The Good House. I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of just looking at the covers. I've seen this one also floating around on like Book Talk and Instagram as being a intense book. Tender is the Flesh. I've also seen this one floating around the Wasp Factory as being pretty intense as well. The House Next Door. Interview with the Vampire. Anne Rice has a ton of books. Poppy Z. Bright. Lost Souls. There's no more 90s novel on this list than Lost Souls. That's interesting. Apartment 16. Okay. Are any of these standing out to any of y'all? Bird Box, Josh Mallerman. The Ballad of Black Tom. Ooh, H.P. Lovecraft. This is Victor Lavalle takes a different approach, choosing to explore the events of Lovecraft's notoriously racist The Horror at Red Hook from the Black point of view. Huh. That's interesting. Bret Easton Ellis, Lunar Park. Experimental film. Interesting. The Monk. What is this old cover? It's a classic from the What is this written? 1796? Wow. Yes. 1796. The Red Tree. I don't know, guys. I really don't know. Things have gotten worse since we last spoke. Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury. I have read this one at one point. I'd definitely be down to reread that. And then The Hunger. We saw these. I honestly don't know what we should do. Let's see. Echo by Thomas. Let's see. I just want a synopsis. I guess I can read this. A thrilling descent into madness and obsession as one man confronts nature and something even more ancient and evil answers back. Travel journalist and mountaineer Nick Grievers awakes from a coma to find that his climbing buddy, Augustine, is still missing and presumed dead. Nick's own injuries are as extensive as they are horrifying. His face wrapped with bandages and unable to speak, Nick claims amnesia, but he remembers everything. Okay, and then Frankenstein by Dean Koontz? Or is it Look at Frankenstein? Or is that what you're telling me to do? No. Dean. It's a trilogy? How many books are in the Frankenstein series? Oh, that's interesting. What is this really ripped guy on the cover of this? Want to see it? Show me the cover. What? Is that Frankenstein? Is that Dr. Frankenstein? This looks like the same art as, oh shoot, I can't remember it. It's a comic series and book series about vampires. I know that's really helpful. Oh shoot. Anita Blake, maybe, is what I'm thinking of. Is that it? Yeah, these. The graphic novels that looked like the same kind of art. Kind of, to me. Dang it.
What's up?
Nothing.
Did we figure it out?
No, we did not. So, I don't know, guys. I don't know what to do.
Let's pick something. We all can figure it out. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I guess we can always post some options and vote on it. Might be a good idea.
We could.
Do still a little bit more research into some different options to give us
I mean, does anything
some
look?
choices.
What's everyone wanting?
Nobody's really sad. I mean, we have Echo, and look at the Frankenstein series was something
You looked up
Amber
Echo?
suggested. Echo looks, I guess, interesting, but
And
nobody else is really.
Frankenstein's a trilogy,
Yeah,
right? So that's not gonna work.
yeah.
We need something that's like a single read, unless, of course, we want to commit to like one book, right? Like in a trilogy, and like doing them in succession, three book clubs in a row.
Yeah.
We have to know that we're gonna like them, because if we're all hating them, and then we have to read the second book, we're gonna be like, "But why did we say yes to this?"
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
yeah. Allie say anything? Anybody suggest anything? Are they gone now or? Yeah, Needless Street sounded good. What's that about? I got plans here in a minute, so we need to definitely wrap this up. But Needless Street, you remember? Okay. The Last House on Needless Street. What is it?
Is
We don't even know what it's about.
shocking and immersive read, perfect for fans of Gone Girl and The Haunting of Hill House. In a boarded up house on a dead end street at the edge of the wild Washington woods lives a family of 3, a teenage girl who isn't allowed outside, not after last time, a man who drinks alone in front of his TV trying to ignore the gaps in his memory, and a house cat who loves napping and reading the Bible.
He's right here.
Sorry.
You're fine.
An unspeakable secret binds them together, but when a new neighbor moves in next door, what is buried out among the birch trees may come back to haunt them all. Yeah, I mean, that sounds interesting to me.
Yeah. A must read. It's all right. This guy says no. I love how it's all right, and this is a must read, but they're both 4 stars. This one, I did not guess the twist. I got a masterpiece. A masterpiece is only 4 stars. I've always found that to be fucking hilarious when people are like, best thing I've ever seen in my life, 4 stars.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what?
I know.
Nothing's ever been a 5-star to you?
Dark,
in your
deep,
life?
and disturbing. For the life of me, I couldn't figure out what was going on. Clever, well-written book.
Mm-hmm.
Best book I've read in years. Not all it is cracked up to be 1 star. No one is what they first appear. Highly, highly recommended. Okay.
Curse of the Reaper. Don't fear him.
Curse of the Reaper.
Song of Kaylee?
Kaylee?
Song of Kaylee. I like.
You like that?
I like anything with Kaylee.
Huh.
Um.
I mean, I'm definitely curious about this author, considering
Right.
what I had heard. So I
How
don't
many
know.
pages is it?
Go down.
If it's 6,000, then no thanks.
Isn't it?
Wait.
Oh, wait.
I thought it was up
Past
here.
I thought it right there.
Oh,
It's
350.
352
Okay,
pages.
that's fine.
So
I don't know. The Washington Woods. The owls are not what they seem.
they are not.
Okay.
That gum you like is going to come back in style.
Are we agreeing on something? I'll read whatever. Like whatever. A slasher book, a zombie book,
Well, this is a slasher or a serial killer thriller, psychological thriller. So, and Needless Streetworks for Amber and Zach.
I don't know. We definitely need to I don't know how to pick.
Well,
I don't know what our
this is why I was
criteria is
suggesting.
and how voting.
Yeah, like putting a poll up so people could vote.
Well, that's tough because there's only 5 people who do this.
Yeah.
So voting is tough. Yeah. I mean, we can have, everyone make a suggestion that they really want to read with the group. And then we can just start doing them one by one. Right. And then I can just pick them at random.
Yeah.
Right. Just put them on something, write them down and pick them at random and then tell them what's the one this week. So but I don't want it to be part of a trilogy and I don't want it to be 1,000 pages long. Outside of that, just keep it somewhere in the 300, 400 page range. Pick a book, one book, tell us what it is, either on Patreon or YouTube, or write me personally or whatever you want. And we will put it into a generator or something and we'll go one at a time. How about that?
All right.
So anyways, so that was that. Final Girl Support Group. I had a good time. Everybody, pick a book. Send it to me. You got 24 hours or you're never seeing the kid again. No. Just send them to me and I'll let everyone know which book we're going to read. I'll pick them at random. Does that sound good to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've never heard of this, but want to read more Adam. Oh, that's the Clown in the Cornfield guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not really. Okay, guys. I gotta go. Love you all. Thanks for joining. Sorry to Zach that he didn't get in here, till later. That was a bummer, but you, of course, can watch this again to catch up with what was said. So I will see you guys soon. We'll do this book club in a month from now, but I think maybe we should have a watch party in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Or just a hangout.
Yeah.
Suggestions. For sure. We can do anything. We don't have to do a movie. We can do a hangout. We can do a list of something. We can just all get naked and hang out. Whatever you guys want. I love you all. Good night. I love this girl the most. Sorry. And that's that. All right. Good night, guys.
Good night, y'all.